what he believed he was best suited to doing, and the reason as to why he's in the position he is. And I believe he's well suited to the position he is. Like I believe as to why he's well suited to doing what he's doing. And he literally said, I believe people skills is the reason I do what I do, and the reason as to why you have delegated what you have to me. And I said, people skills, that's interesting, Matt, given that you sit in front of a laptop by yourself all day. Right, so tell me how we're capitalising upon your people skills, Matt, given you sitting alone in a room all day.
But then you put it in
no. It's in fact, but you did, however, prove my point, Matt. It's in fact optimism. That is. What you confuse is what you would like to be good at with what you're actually good at. But that said, optimism is important, and the fact that you feel like that is something you could potentially be better at or good at, I appreciate that. And that again, like it reiterates to me the reason as to why you're in the position you are. You are one optimistic individual, Matty. You are.
We need that in blacksmith.
We need.
Oh yeah, I had a thought about elaborating on deciding what you are good at and what comes naturally to you and what you love.
Deciding. See, you don't decide. So that no.
Could you?
No.
Not what.
Can you decide what comes naturally to you? No. It's you can't scale magic. You've either got it or you don't. You're born that way. It's DNA is what it comes down to.
Could you?
You can develop skills, but you can't develop talent. You can develop skills, and you can, there's nothing that you cannot become better at with sufficient time and energy invested in that. Mm-hmm. But can you become miraculously more talented? No, you can't. What you have is what you have.
So you'll kind of plateau at a certain bit.
There is. I should turn that other camera. Should we introduce this? So, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, wrong order. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? Wrong platform. That's Instagram. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depending on when you're listening to this, I hope you're having or have had a phenomenal day. I'm here with Sean.
Yo. And
you're about to listen to another episode of Tangents with Sean Slade. Do we have any idea as to, well, to be honest, what we're actually doing at the moment is deliberating as to what we are going to talk about this evening and what we believe will benefit you the most. That is the plan of attack. That is our intention. That is our ambition. So far, we've been talking for how long, Matty? 7 to 10 minutes? 7 to 10 minutes, and we haven't. We were about to touch on. See, Sean had just suggested that we talked about. It was deciding upon what you believe you're best suited to, right? Or better understanding what you believe you're best suited to.
Pretty much.
But you were of the understanding until I feel like what I just said has changed your perspective. But you were of the understanding that talent. Like you said what you actually said was choosing your talents. Right, that's what you said. You can't, look at it. No, say exactly what you said. Say exactly what you said, and
I said,
just so I don't misquote. You basically said.
I said decide something about deciding.
Yeah. So you
deciding what you.
Well, how do you decide as to what you were good at? I believe is what you said, but you don't decide as to what you were good at. You take into consideration, given the context you've allowed yourself, what comes more naturally to you. So do we ever, for the sake of conversation, Tiger Woods, he's incredibly talented at golf, 100%. Is that to suggest, however, or could he potentially be better at something else? Yes, he could. Has he allowed him to have that context? No. So do we actually find what we are best suited to doing? No. Do we find what we are best suited to doing comparatively? Yes. So you never, for the sake of conversation, again, I'm understanding as to what I'm good at in comparison to the things that I've also tried my hand at. But I've never tried playing violin, so how can I be certain that I'm not the next best violin player in the world? But you can't. The thing is, you'll never, because of the amount of outlets, because of the amount of facets you could potentially invest time in, and given the amount of time that is necessary to have some understanding as to whether it comes naturally to you or not, there's no possible way you could absolutely try your hand at everything. There is no possible way. So, as I said, what you end up doing is something you will eventually stumble upon. Should you allow yourself the context necessary, something that you do enjoy and you're pretty damn good at comparatively, and that very thing is going to be something that you have the potential to be exceptional at. Should you capitalize upon those talents, and should you invest more time than everyone else has, given that you are going to develop that attribute, that skill, at a rate that no one else is capable of, given your talents. You don't get to choose the talents, so you've either got them or you don't. It's DNA. You can't miraculously become more coordinated.
I guess that kind of answers what I was about to get to.
You can't, no matter how much I hope and dream, I am not going to miraculously grow another 2 foot. It doesn't happen. Again, it's a talent. Talent is a governing factor. It really is. Yeah. But as I said, like first, the second you accept that what you would like to be good at is not necessarily what you're going to be good at and what you are good at, that is a liberating feeling, because you're not going to be upset. You're not going to beat yourself up for not being as good as other people, despite having worked harder and understanding that you are working harder. Hard work is a factor, but is it the factor? Provided everyone is working just as hard, or everyone. Hard work is a factor. Is it the factor? No. Provided, and this is circumstantial, but provided someone is talented and significantly more talented, hard work is not going to be the point of difference. Hard work is not going to necessarily ensure that you are better than them at it, given their talents. Obviously, there are degrees of talents as well. But I'm telling you right now, no matter how hard I train, no matter how much time I invest running laps, Usain Bolt, provided he were yet to realise that he is an exceptional runner, he could probably still take to the track, no matter how much I train, and still whoop me. Right?
Yeah.
I guarantee Roger Federer, for the sake of conversation, could very well have played 2 matches of tennis in comparison to my 45, and he would probably still whoop me. You know what I mean? Like that's just how it
Some
works.
people just got
Hard work is a factor, provided, again, like those you are intending to be competitive against have a similar amount of talent. Yeah. But so, as I said, talent is of relation to how good you could potentially be at it comparatively. So someone that's talented has the potential to be far better than someone that's not, regarding all aspects of life.
And does it depend on like your mindset about it as well? So, for example, if you have the talent or not, it wouldn't really matter if you didn't want to be at the top of it. Say you only want to kind of participate.
No, there are people that don't like what they do that are still exceptional at what they do because they understand it to be viable, because they're motivated by other things. You don't have to be motivated by love. You will always be better at it provided you're motivated by love, because you're going to be inclined to work harder at it. But there are people that are motivated by money that understand their talents and will do what they need to because they understand it makes them money. Yeah. Right? So look at there are so many professional athletes that don't actually like what they're doing. So many professional athletes that
that's true.
And they will openly talk about how much they don't like, and the second they have made as much money as they believe necessary to again, like result in them having freedom of choice, more or less. So them being able to do what they want when they want to do it, they stop playing. They would keep playing, provided it was for the love of the sport. They would keep playing independent to how much money they've already made, right? So like, you look at Jordan, for instance. Does he need the amount of money he's got? Could he have very well stopped playing a lot sooner, provided his intention was to be comfortable for the remainder of his life? 100%. But the reason as to why he kept playing, it was because he wasn't actually motivated by money. Right, you can see it's very apparent. Those are like take regarding all aspects of life. I said take Bill Gates, take Elon Musk, take Steve Jobs. They weren't motivated by money. That was a factor 100%. But the reason as to why they were inclined to work as hard as they were is because they were motivated by producing or providing their clients, providing their customers with the best quality service possible. They were more interested in changing lives and being remembered than they were making money, because the reality situation is, again,
I guess the money was a byproduct.
Oh, the money, as far as they are concerned, it was a byproduct. Exactly right. The money, as far as they were concerned, it was not worth the sacrifice they were making. What was worth the sacrifice they were making regarding their well-being, regarding their livelihood, regarding the context they could have otherwise, they potentially could have otherwise had regarding things they may have otherwise enjoyed. They deliberately didn't allow themselves that context to give themselves the best chance possible at making the biggest impact possible, and thus being remembered for the reasons that they wanted to be remembered for. And that was the reason as to why they were. That was the reason they were chasing legacy. Anyone that is a billionaire is not interested. It's not to say they're not interested in making money, but what they are motivated by goes far beyond that. Yeah. Far beyond that. You will never be the best at anything unless. Oh, see, this is where, again, like, talent's a factor, but provided Hayden's calling me. Provided you are talented and you love it, you are someone that's going to be very, very hard to beat. You are going to be an anomaly. You really are. Yeah. Like, provided you are talented and you don't love it, you can still be exceptional at it. You are still likely, if you understand that you're talented and you are motivated by things that are a byproduct of capitalising upon those talents, you are still going to be one of the best. Yeah. But provided someone is equally as talented and they're inclined to do it regardless, are you going to be as good as them? No, you're not. But you don't get to pick and choose what you are talented regarding. That's where a lot of people need to accept that. They need to accept that what they would like to be good at isn't often what they're good at. And the sooner they come to that understanding, the sooner they will stop judging themselves and beating themselves up and blaming themselves for not being as good as others at things they were never born to be good at things they were never meant to be any good at. I can't run. My legs chafe. But even before I was the size I am, I could never run. So as I said, like there's independence to how much I trained. I'm not made for it. I was never going to be an exceptional runner.
Yeah.
So it would make no sense for me to beat myself up for not being competitive against those that were again like genetically engineered for it to a degree, like born to do it. Because it's delusion. Like optimism and delusion, they're actually very similar, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people fail to understand how similar they are. Optimism. It's viable to be optimistic provided you're optimistic, like you have reason to be. So it's without reason without having the context necessary to understand, or without the context necessary to suggest that the idealistic outcome that you would like to be the case is in fact a possibility. That's delusion, right? So if you are optimistic, you have been left with the impression, you have an understanding regarding that it's been based on the context you have to date, that what you would like to come of what you were doing could potentially come of what you were doing. But provided you are simply you are faithful without having reason to be faithful, that what you would like to come of what you were doing is going to come of what you would like is going to be the case. Well, that's delusion is what that is, and they're very close, very, very close.
I guess as well, you've got to kind of like just stay within like universal law. Like, so for example, I know.
Interesting.
I'm a big guy, right?
You are. You're never going to be the best touch football player. No.
Exactly.
We've had this discussion.
Or the marathon runner that just broke under 2 hours.
You were never going to be. No.
Exactly. You know what I mean? But like universal law, you like.
No matter what you did, no matter.
Without changing my biological structure.
Nothing is going to increase there's nothing you could potentially do that could increase the likelihood, or not increase the likelihood. Everything you do in pursuit of an endeavour will increase the likelihood of you being better at it. Full stop. Like you can develop skills, you can develop attributes. That goes without saying. But were you ever going to be better than that person at that? No, you weren't. Were you ever going to be competitive against that person? Potentially, depending on how hard you work. But that's, again, if your intention, but no one works that hard without the intention to be the best. Right, so no one's going to subject themselves to what is necessary to be competitive against someone like that, unless they honestly believe that they have a chance at winning that or being that person. That's the reality situation. And again, it's no one competes at a high level of sport that doesn't honestly believe they can be the best. Yeah. Like when I'm talking high level, I'm talking if you're someone that is already in contention for the top 10, or someone that is part of the top 10 regarding a particular outlet, you are exceptionally talented. Does that mean you need to love it? No. But no one in that top 10 doesn't believe they can be. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're motivated by the love of it. They're all going to be motivated by different things. But the fact of the matter is, no one at that level is going to put themselves through what is necessary to potentially be the best, independent as to what they are motivated by, provided they don't believe that they can be the best, given the understanding they have regarding the byproducts of being the best. Yeah. All right?
Yeah. 100%. What if someone, so say maybe for business?
Yes.
Could it come down to then developing and...
There's also factors that are of relation to attributes you're born with. Like you can develop all psychological attributes as well, but fact of the matter is, if you don't like confrontation, or if you aren't naturally pretty good at dealing with confrontation, you don't like being punched in the face, you don't like putting out fires, then you are better off being an employee than a boss. That's the harsh reality situation. Like if you are not someone that deals with criticism well, and that said, like can you become better at that with time? Yes, you will. But if you are someone that, as I said, really has trouble valuing your opinion above anyone else's, and really has trouble, if you are someone that has trouble with self-belief, if you are not, like again, like environmental factors will influence these attributes like you wouldn't believe. They are all, again, like they can all be developed. You can get better at it. Me, for instance, I'm not the best with confrontation. I'm getting better, given the experience I have, and obviously given the context I now have, and given the confrontations I've had to deal with. I'm much better because I'm now of the understanding that deliberating changes nothing, and provided there's a difference regarding perspective, the outcome's going to be the same no matter what. No matter how long you deliberate, no matter how long you speculate, the outcome's going to be the same. Because at the end of the day, someone is likely. The reason you're worried is because the reason you're worried about having that conversation that's likely going to be uncomfortable. You're worried about the outcome, given that you are certain that they are not going to agree with you, and it's again, like there is not necessarily going to be a resolution that that you are both pleased regarding. That's the reality situation. If anything you deem easy to resolve, anything anything that's going to result in a difference of perspective, anything that gives someone else the opportunity to make apparent their perspective that is likely going to differ from yours, we deem that the majority of people deem that as an uncomfortable conversation to have. That's the reality situation, because we don't like being told no, we don't like being disagreed with, we don't like people opposing our thoughts, especially if we believe, especially if those thoughts, that perspective is of relation to something we care about, right? So with business, any boss, like reality situation is any boss really cares for their business. That is their baby, effectively, right? So provided you are making a decision that you believe to be in the best interest of your business, given that is your priority, and you are certain that, independent to how much you like someone, independent to the rapport you've built with someone, that they are not suited to the line of work that is required of them, or to the job that is required of them for the benefit of your business. Well, again, like that's a very uncomfortable conversation. And a lot of people will, and it's almost always, provided it's not had, at the detriment to that business, right? So the people that if you aren't willing to have those conversations, if you aren't, they will. It's eventually going to happen, because you'll eventually become, provided you are the boss, frustrated to the point that, again, you can't actually withhold that, having that conversation anymore. You can't actually stop yourself from having it, because you are so frustrated. You're then going to deal with it in a manner that you probably won't be proud of, and that's going to adversely affect the relationship you could have otherwise had, or the relationship that you did have prior, given that you've dealt with it in a manner that you're probably not going to be proud of. But the longer you avoid that conversation, again, like it doesn't actually influence their perspective at all. Their perspective is going to be no different to the independence of when you actually have that conversation. The difference is how frustrated you're going to be and how much you're going to regret having postponed that conversation for as long as you did. But if you don't like having those conversations, you're someone that is more inclined to postpone those things as opposed to address them. Yeah, being the boss isn't for you, because it's going to cause you. You're not going to be happy. The North Star should always be happiness. So
would you say being the boss isn't for you, or whatever you're doing at that point in time isn't for you?
No. So basically, if you're independent to the industry you're in, independent as to independence to the industry you're in. If you're the boss, all the problems are your fault, right? So like it's your job to find a solution. That solution may be at the potential cost of someone else's livelihood, at the potential cost of someone else's happiness, right? That's because your job, without a business, no one has a job, and it's the cost of everyone's livelihood, including your own, right? So you need to do what is best for the business, and that will likely result in you having to make some decisions that you are certain will upset certain individuals. That's the harsh reality of the situation. So provided you don't like having those conversations, you won't find yourself in that position, because you're just not made for it. Simple as that. Like there are, no matter how much you hope and no matter how much you wish, if you don't like having those conversations, and should you open up a business, you're not going to be a boss for very long, because you're going to realise very quickly it's not for you, because the stress that those circumstances will cause you, and the amount of sleep you will lose worrying about the potential outcome, you're going to deem that not worth again, like the power you feel, or the status associated with being a boss. That's the reality of the situation. Yeah.
Regardless on how passionate you are in the industry.
100%. I genuinely feel like passion regarding a particular industry doesn't necessarily mean that you are well suited to being a boss in that industry. No, it's a different attribute. Like there are bosses that are fantastic at delegating. They're fantastic at identifying the strengths in those they are interested in employing, in those they understand to be best suited to that position, that have no interest in the industry. I know supplement company owners that don't train, have never trained in their lives, but they are understanding as to the attributes necessary of their employees to have a business that is running successfully in that industry. Right, that's being as far as I'm concerned, your ability to efficiently communicate your ideas and your ability to inspire others, they are the two most important factors that will ultimately dictate how successful that business is, attributed to the influence that boss has. Right, so you don't need to be passionate in that industry. I've got businesses in industries I'm not actually passionate regarding, but I understand. As I said, the reason as to why they are doing well is because I'm understanding of the attributes necessary of the people that are worthwhile employing for the jobs required to ensure that business runs efficiently and to ensure the business is successful. That's what I understand.
Like the barbershop, for example.
Like the barbershop. Like I know nothing about barbering. I know the difference between a good and bad haircut, but I can't actually cut. But I'm very good at identifying strengths in those. Like I'm very good at identifying who could potentially be of use and who isn't, given the attributes they have. That's my superpower.
And it's
The plan of attack wasn't actually to plug the barbershop. Just to clarify, that wasn't actually the plan. That wasn't an elaborate means of plugging the barbershop. Just to clarify. But no, I know people that run businesses that have no interest in that business at all. Literally no interest. And you literally go, what? Like, surely not. Surely that's not the industry you're involved in. Like, I guarantee. I was going to say, I guarantee there are vegans that run like Italian restaurants, but probably not. Probably not, because that's like a matter of ethics.
I was going to say
that's a matter of ethics. But as you said, like there are people. I know men, for instance, that sell like women's cosmetics, and it's not because they're interested in cosmetics or they're passionate regarding cosmetics. They just understand how to run a business in that industry, or they just understand how to run a business. I feel like regarding talent and regarding the attributes necessary to be a boss. I feel like if you're not someone like you just know that's the reality of the situation. Like you know if you are not someone that likes being told what to do, then again, like employment is obviously not the greatest thing for you. Like employment's never going to really work for you. Like you're going to do it, but it will be at the expense of your happiness. If you are not someone that likes being, but on the flip side, again, like if you're not someone that likes having your opinion opposed and likes being proved wrong, being a boss isn't for you either. There's a particular skill set that is that would be another factor. The willingness to be proved wrong, or how inclined you are to prioritise what is best for your business as opposed to what is best for the sake of your pride. That is also a huge factor regarding business. That
depending on how you look at it, right?
Yep.
100%. Super insightful.
100%.
Yep.
100%.
But I feel like a lot of people's ego gets in the way.
Well, that's what I mean. If you're being a boss because you want to tell people what to do, and because you never want to be wrong. If you hate being told that you're wrong, and you as I said, believe that owning a business is in your best interest, given that the less likely you are told you are wrong, the happier you're going to be. Well, I'm sorry, but you've got it so wrong, it's ridiculous, and you're not going to be in business very long, because obviously the more often you were told wrong and the more you accept that you are more likely going to be wrong than right, the more inclined you're going to be to resolve the problems that result. Like the reason as to why someone's telling you you're wrong is because there's a problem, as far as they are concerned. And their opinion is to be prioritised above yours, given that your livelihood and the success of that business is dependent on those potentially interested in spending money with you. If there are problems, if they aren't interested because of the problems they have identified to you, they have given you the opportunity to rectify those issues by making apparent their opinion, their perspective, so that someone that would otherwise share that same opinion is still going to be inclined to pay you money, and it's going to influence your livelihood and your well-being, right? Yeah. So if you're more concerned with proving yourself right as opposed to resolving issues, it's not for you either. You are not. If you do not like being told you're wrong, being a boss is not for you. So if that's not a trait you have, and it don't necessarily like being told wrong, more or less understand the benefits that could potentially come of being you are told wrong, or the benefits associated with accepting that the customer is always right, and understanding that it is your livelihood and your well-being that's dependent on their opinion.
Do you think that's a trait that can be developed through personal development, all that kind of stuff?
I feel like it's something that you can be taught. Yes, like it's the more you correlate the two, the more you are given the opportunity to understand the influence prioritising your customers' opinions have. Yes, will that influence? Should again, comes down to what you're motivated by. So, provided you're motivated by money and you associate, the more you prioritise the customer's opinion with the more money you make, with the money that is made. Yeah, 100%. You're gonna quickly learn to swallow your pride, but you're not gonna do it because you don't want to be right. Yeah. You're gonna do it because you understand that that's gonna make you more money, right? So it comes down to, again, what you're motivated by as well. So a completely different kettle of fish again. But yeah, for the most part, as I said, like, regarding anything that, the only thing you have a hope of being exceptional regarding is something is of relation to something that comes pretty naturally to you. That is the be all and the end all. And it could, because to be exceptional, the word exceptional means good comparatively, or like it's amongst the few capable of doing what you were able to do at that. Like at that quality, at that level, basically, is what exceptional means. Yep. So, again, like being exceptional doesn't mean you're good at it. Being exceptional means you are better than those that consider themselves good at it. That's what being exceptional means.
Do you think being exceptional at certain things is for everyone?
It's easy to be exceptional regarding things that not many other people are interested in. So it's hard to be exceptional regarding things that people actually want to be good at and perceive as cool, given the amount of people interested in being good at that, right? So this is where it's take football, for instance. Everyone wants to be good at football because it's cool. This is where society encourages us to take interest in certain things, given the influence on the perception others have of us will have, provided we are good at that, right? So there are a lot of people that aren't there are a lot of people that are only doing the things they are doing and only want to be exceptional because they understand the status that's associated with being exceptional at that. And
Like
because
being
of
a
that,
jock.
they set their heart on it. Exactly right. And they set their heart on being exceptional at that, not because they have been given reason to believe that they are, they have the potential to be exceptional at it. They're more or less interested in, as I said, the opinions of others that will be influenced by them being exceptional at that. That's what they're more interested in. They are often the most delusional. Truth be told, they are often the most delusional because again, they're not taking into consideration any context other than like their understanding as to the influence being good at that will have on the opinions of others. But the reason as to why it's harder to be considered exceptional. This is where talent is a huge factor. Hard to be exceptional at things that a lot of people are interested in, a lot of people generally enjoy doing, is because there are so many people doing it, and that's where, like the reality situation is there are. Would it be easier to make a top 100, say, pogo stick bouncers in the world than top 100 sprinters? Yes, because there are more people sprinting than there are jumping on pogo sticks, right? Not many people actually allow themselves the context necessary to better understand as to whether that's well suited to them or not, right? That's more or less what I mean. So it's provided this is where you can be strategic in that sense as well. So provided you have just high hemoglobin levels, for the sake of conversation, that's genetic, and you are someone that is great at endurance sports, well then, yeah, again, provided, but you don't have the same amount as those that are at present considered the best in the world at it. Well, could you very well take into consideration those strengths and invest that in an outlet that there aren't as many people interested in and there aren't as many people capitalising upon their strengths regarding that, and could that prove to be a delineating factor regarding that outlet as opposed to the outlet that you would otherwise believe it was best suited to? 100%. 100%. And that's, so again, like for the sake of conversation, you're a barber and you are incredibly coordinated with your hands, right? Yep. But that's not to say, and there's a lot of people, so for the sake of conversation, if your interest is to be the best at something, and again, like you are of the understanding there are barbers more talented than you, that's not to say that you can't continually get better at it, but if you are of the understanding there are far more barbers more talented and just as coordinated and they have the same gifts that you do, well then, again, why not consider what that coordination and what actually makes you, what comes to you more naturally than majority that you have applied to barbering. Why not consider what that could also be applied to that could potentially provide your, as I said, your expectations to be the best. What could you do other than barbering that capitalises upon the strengths that you have that will likely result in you being considered exceptional or more exceptional than you would be provided you would stick with barbering, given the amount of people interested in that are also talented, right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where
I'll give you an example.
That's a strategy is what that is.
Year 10, year 11
Here we go.
of high school, I signed up to a table tennis club.
Exactly, because you are incredibly coordinated, but that's exactly what I'm talking about.
But then it comes to the fact of like, I don't really give a what like all my mates said or anything. Oh wait, can I say that word?
Yeah, go for it. Matt can bleep that out, that's fine. Matt can bleep that out, that's fine.
Yeah, like you were saying, like you normally do things because of your social influence, right?
100%. Well, no, not. There are people that do things because of the understanding they have regarding the way they'll be perceived by those they value the opinion of. Yep. Yes, but is that the reason everyone does the things they do? No.
No. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Good. And I'm lucky from like a young age that I didn't really care too much, and so I think
regarding ping pong, is that what you're talking about? Or regarding the opinions of others?
Opinions of others.
I understand.
Because it was kind of like, it was simple for me.
So you did care for ping pong, you just didn't care for the opinions of others?
Yes.
Right, understand. Okay, good.
No, not ping pong.
Yeah, no, I know.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm kind of lucky in that sense that I've never actually worried about what others are thinking, and I'm
It's
more...
very fortunate, very fortunate.
Yeah, more stuck to what I've been driven towards.
Why is that? Should I let you finish your story first?
No, I just wanted to let you know I played table tennis.
Oh, right, there's no... Yeah, okay.
But like you said, I explored other avenues of...
Because you were of the understanding that you would be pretty good at it given how coordinated you were? Did you
I
understand
didn't
that you
understand
were...
that.
Were you barbering at the time?
No.
So that's not even relevant there. Yeah, but I understand. Yeah, so you identified, that was obviously, the reason as to why you took interest in that, the reason as to why you gave that a shot was because you obviously
It came naturally.
you obviously had some success regarding something that required coordination.
Yes.
You deemed table tennis similar to something you were already pretty good at.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. And that's being strategic. That's what that is. Because there wouldn't be many people playing table tennis in school,
No.
right? So you were considered pretty good at it, right? Because
When I started bringing my own bat,
100%. Oh, no matter how bad you are at something, if you're the only one doing it, you're the best.
Oh, 100%.
Simple, that's what people need to understand as well.
was like,
that
"Look at your own bat shot,"
that
I'm
still
like,
counts.
yeah.
100% that still counts. As far as I'm concerned, no matter if you're the only one that rocks up to an event and you are crowned first, well, you got to be in it to win it. You've won it.
100%.
Congratulations.
100%.
But the more people in it to win it, the more talented you need to be. And that's where, as I said, provided you aren't talented, I'm sorry, but it's very unlikely that you're going to be any good at it comparatively.
Bingo, bango.
Because there are so many people interested in that, given, and the things that are considered popular, the things that are considered cool, that is what most people are interested in being good at. And for that reason, talent is a much greater factor.
Yeah.
Talent's not a factor. The only time talent isn't a factor is
If you have a hobby.
Oh yeah, if you're jumping on poker sticks. No, the only time talent isn't a factor is literally provided no one else is interested in doing that. That's the only time talent's not a factor. Yeah. Talent is, as I said, like talent and work ethic, huge factors.
What about talent doesn't have to be a factor if you derive fulfillment from it?
So the only time talent's not a factor is if your expectation is not to be the best. You're doing it because you love it, 100%.
Yeah.
That's when talent's not a factor. But again, like given that we are talking about being competitive and being exceptional, talent is 100% a factor. And there's nothing you can do about that. I'm sorry. So as soon as that is understood, if you're good at something,
that's not to say that you can't do other things and not be the best at it, but still get a lot of enjoyment.
You don't have to. So this is where it depends on your expectations. So if your expectation is to be the best, you need to start investing time in something that comes pretty naturally to you. You're never going to be the best at something that doesn't come naturally to you. Full stop. That's what needs to be understood. But provided your expectation is to make, let's say you're finding let's say for the sake of conversation, you enjoy doing it. You're not very good at it, but you are willing to invest the time necessary to be pretty good at it comparatively. And for that reason, it proves financially viable, given you are better than some at it.
Yep.
And by some, I mean, let's say personal training. Provided you aren't great with people, but you are better than, you have spent the time necessary to develop the skills and attributes necessary to express yourself efficiently. And for that reason, you are better than those that also train at the same gym. Are you going to make a pretty good living out of training people out of that gym? 100% you are. And if your expectation is simply to do something you love and support a lifestyle you love by doing that, fantastic. That's all well and good. Yep. But are you going to be the best at it? No, you're not. Yeah. Given that those skills didn't come to you naturally. Given you had to work harder than some do to develop those attributes, and because you've already had to work harder to develop those attributes than some do, well, you better believe that provided someone who invests the same time and energy, they're going to be better at it than you. That's so. As I said, like expectations, talent's not a factor provided you aren't expecting to be the best. That's expectation. Yeah. Expectation dictates how important talent is as a factor. Yeah. Expectation dictates how important hard work is as a factor as well. So you reverse engineer everything. So you go, all right.
I think that was the answer to my question actually.
You reverse engineer everything. So you go, all right. What do I want to come of this? Yeah. Right? And you go, all right. Can I potentially? Is this something that I'm pretty good? Like, am I? Reality situation is, consider my circle of friends. Am I the best at this in my circle of friends? Yeah. If the answer is no, I'm sorry, you are not going to be the next Roger Federer. Like that's the reality. If the focus group is as simple as small as your circle of friends and you're not already the best at it, you are probably not talented regarding that. Like that's the thing. I've had friends in school that barely ever trained. Like I started training when I was 15, and by 17, I still look like I never trained a day in my life. Right? There were guys that had never lifted a weight that were still stronger than me. Right? So I was understanding I'm never going to be the world's strongest man. Yeah. I'm understanding of that because there are people that don't actually try. Could those individuals that hadn't actually trained and were still stronger than me, given the effort I'd already invested, potentially be someone exceptionally strong? Yes, but that's based off the context that they have. That's not to say that. But again, like the more competitive you are, the more people that are interested in doing that. As I said, the more apparent talent is, and the more as I said, like an important a factor talent becomes in that sense. So again, like focus group wise, when your focus group is the world, well then you've got to consider how exceptionally talented some individuals may be. And you're talking if there are 2 million people interested in that, the 1% of 2 million is 2,000 people, right?
Yep.
No, it's 20,000. It's 20,000 people. Is 1% times 100. It's 20,000. Times 10 to 20. Yeah, it's 20,000 is 1% of 2 million, right? So if there are 20,000 other people, to be top 10 of 20,000 people, that is a phenomenal accomplishment. And you're trying talent. Given the amount of people interested in that, talent is a huge factor.
Yeah.
Huge factor.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're the best amongst 10 people, well, that's all well and good. But there's 20,000 is a lot more than 10. So you need to consider that, and you're not going to understand how talented you are or aren't until you actually allow yourself the context necessary to, as I said, come to that understanding. But again, regarding bodybuilding, for the sake of conversation, if you are not winning in clean, if it's not an easy win at a local comp, I'm sorry, you are not going to be a world champion. Like that's, you look at anyone that is a world champion regarding anything, that's not to say they haven't had their losses. They likely have. But once they realised they were talented regarding that, once they started investing just as much time as everyone else, that it became very apparent very quickly that they were very good at it and they were destined to be who they became. That's as simple as that, right? So as I said, like in school, Jordan he didn't actually make the basketball team, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as he, and there isn't much context regarding that. So that doesn't actually talk about how much he practiced before he.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
yeah,
If that was the first
that's going
day
to
he
be
picked up a basketball.
that could have very well been the first day he picked up a basketball, and everyone else might have been practicing for 2 years. Like no one actually talks of the context regarding that. But for the sake of conversation, let's say that was the first time he ever picked up a ball. Well, given that the first time he picked up a ball, he was of the understanding that was something he enjoyed. He then started shooting hoops, and it came pretty naturally to him. I guarantee, like you give him 2 years with that ball, he was never dropped from another team again. I guarantee that. Like I guarantee it would have become very, very apparent very quickly the second he actually took interest in being good at that for no other reason than because he enjoyed it, that he was actually talented at it, and that he could have very well, that he was destined to become the person he was born to be, right? But it's
Same thing though.
It's as simple as allowing yourself the context necessary, but unfortunately people are scared to allow themselves, people with an understanding that they could be pretty good at something left of field don't allow themselves the context necessary because they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid of being judged. This is also what needs to be understood. Anything you're exceptional at, you're going to be renowned for, and you're going to be commended for. No one laughs. This is where everyone starts somewhere. No one laughs at the person that's the best, no matter what it is, right? So even if it's pogo sticks, if you're the best at it, that's still impressive, correct?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So it's understand. Everyone starts somewhere. So if you feel like you have an inkling that you're going to be pretty good at something, and should you try it, again, like it comes pretty naturally to you and you excel at it pretty quickly, well then you should definitely, independent of what you believe people are going to think of you investing time in that, do it. Give it a go, because it should your expectations be met, should you become exceptional at it, no one's going to be laughing. But no matter, again, like Jordan was dropped from the high school basketball team, so I guarantee he was laughed at. No one's laughing now. No one's laughing now. Man has his own shoes, but no one's laughing. But the fact of the matter is, again, like that's something that's perceived as cool. The reason as to why people don't try their hands at things that are considered uncool and considered not conventional is because, again, they're afraid to be laughed at, despite understanding the potential they could effectively have, because they don't want to be laughed at short term. But I'm telling you now, no matter what the score is at halftime, when the final buzzer sounds, if you're at the top of that leaderboard, you're not going to be. No one laughs at the guy at the top of the leaderboard. But you've got to be willing, regarding anything, you've got to be willing to do the hard yards. And to be laughed at if you ever have a hope of being at the top of that leaderboard, because you need to allow yourself the context necessary. So it might take you 5 years, and it might require you might need to suck at 45 different things before you find the thing that you're actually pretty good at. And should your expectations be met, and should you one day be exceptional at that, will you consider being laughed at those 45 other instances worth it? Yes, you will. 100%. Because no one cares what the score is at halftime. When the final buzzer sounds, that's what everyone takes into consideration, right? No one's buying jerseys for the team that just lost. No one buys jerseys for the team that's winning at halftime. 100% it is. But that's what needs to be. That's what needs to be understood. So again, like you can expect to be, especially provided it's left of field, and not many people are interested in that, like ping pong. Like again, I chuckled, but the reality of the situation is, provided you were to eventually become world champion, you were pretty certain you were going to become that. Would I be chuckling provided that were the case? Certainly not. I wouldn't be chuckling, because it's incredible and it's impressive.
Yep. Have you found like you've been like that all your life as well? Like
interested in investing, like understanding.
Disregarded people's opinions.
More interested in a long-term outcome as opposed to a short-term outcome.
Not that, but like judgment or fear of judgment.
My
Do you
interest
think that's
in
something you've gotten over, or
I was severely bullied in school, severely bullied to the point I saw therapists for anxiety, and that's so no. I was incredibly fearful of judgment until I understood, as I said, the what is worth taking into consideration, and that is of course the score at the end of the game and my happiness.
Yep.
So independent as to what others thought, provided I was happy. Then again, like I had invested time in things that I thought would result in me being perceived as cool, and I was still made fun of. So as far as I was concerned, there was nothing that I could do to please others. I might as well do what I can do to please myself, given that that is a factor I can control. I can influence my own happiness by investing time in something that I feel a sense of fulfillment regarding. I understood that to be a factor I could control. The opinions of others, I'll never be able to control them. I can influence them, but I can never actually tell others what to think.
Yeah.
Certainly not. No, I'd be audacious to think I could.
that's 100%.
So I'm thankful that I was laughed at whilst investing time and energy in things that I thought would result in me being more popular, because that then had me realise at a very young age that independent as to what you do, independent as to the outcome that you are expecting, given what has occurred, given the outcome that others have experienced by doing that. If someone wants to have an opinion regarding you, they're going to have an opinion regarding you. Simple as that.
Yep.
So I was of the understanding if someone was adamant that they were going to make fun of me and adamant that they were going to treat me a certain way, independent to what I did, well, fantastic. Then it gave me reason to then, as I said, then control whatever factors I could that would influence my happiness, as opposed to, as I said, trying to having my happiness dependent on the opinions of those that I was already of the understanding, given the context I had, that were adamant that were going to make my life harder than it needed to be, independent to what I did to potentially appease them. Well, yeah, so as I said, I consider myself very fortunate in some way to be laughed at regarding things that other people were commended regarding, because that made apparent to me, if someone doesn't like you, if someone wants to have an opinion regarding you, they're going to
have it
independent to what
regardless,
you do, they're going to have an opinion regardless. Simple as that.
And then it's
So that was
I
that
guess
was
you kinda
it was
get this-
liberating. It was upsetting, but it was liberating.
exactly like it's liberating, and you get
Yep.
this clarification of like,
Yep.
oh, they have an opinion.
That's
and then it's kind of like nothing, and it's like, okay,
the realization was that's something I'm never going to be able to control. So why am I focusing? Why am I investing time and energy regarding that? How about I focus my time and energy and
like really, what impact does it have?
how well at the time I said I became extremely anxious, and I ended up seeing a therapist because I was bullied so bad. But when I came to that realization that independent as to what I spent my time doing, provided I was doing whatever it was for the sake of potentially influencing the opinions of those that I chose to value at the time, there was no guarantee that was going to be the case, because there was something about me that, and they're allowed to have that opinion. They were 100% allowed to have that opinion.
Oh,
but
absolutely.
yeah, as I said, like I was of the understanding that no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, and no matter how much I took into consideration what they liked and what they were interested in applauding others regarding, if they didn't like me, they weren't going to like me. So there was nothing I could do in that sense. So that was liberating in the sense that I thought, all right, I realised, okay, that's a factor I'm not going to be able to control. How about I focus on the factors that I can control? And are they still going to make fun of me? Are they probably going to make fun of me to a great degree? Yes. But am I going to be able to offset, again, like the fun they are making me, am I going to be able to offset the pain that results in for me psychologically, provided I'm doing something I actually enjoy doing? And the answer was yes. I realised pretty quick the answer was yes. And that's when I started independence to, as I said, the potential repercussions regarding the opinions of those, of my peers at the time. I chose to do it regardless. And
Snowball effect,
and
right?
speaking from experience, like that's the thing. No one laughs when you're exceptional at things. I've been laughed at. There are things now that I'm doing that I've been laughed at regarding. And these are things these are things that people celebrate now. It's funny the way things work. It's really, like I was laughed at, like regarding bodybuilding again. Like I'm understanding I'm never going to be the best, but when I first expressed interest in it, and that is obviously something that's considered pretty cool. When I first expressed interest in it, I was laughed at. By those very close to me, and it's again that was obviously very unfortunate. It was hard to hear, but the reality situation is, again, like it's those very same people that laughed at me are now, as I said, like more or less curious as to how I did it, but also like it comes up in conversation, how interesting they believe what I've accomplished is, and obviously how impressed they are regarding such accomplishments. And that's again, of relation to things they've actually laughed at me regarding in the past. Funny how it works.
Yeah, interesting how it switches from judgment to curiosity.
Yes, 100%. People judge to make themselves feel better. People judge. People are only curious regarding something someone is potentially able to teach them. Yeah. People are only curious regarding things they believe.
Best interest.
People express curiosity when they are of the understanding there is something you could potentially do for them or teach them that benefits them. Yeah. That's simple as that. People are only no one reads books that are of no interest to them. No one watches podcasts that are of no interest to them. People only, as I said, pay attention to things that they believe are either entertaining or educational. That's the reality situation. So curiosity is more or less someone being curious regarding anything is no different to them inadvertently making apparent that they are interested in something you have or something you could potentially help them regarding. Yeah. That's what curiosity is. It is an expression of interest, right? Yeah. That's what curiosity is.
The most mild level interest.
Yes, it is an inadvertent means of them making apparent to you that you have something they want or there is something you are doing that they would also like to do. That's what curiosity is. Whether you realize it or not, that's what curiosity is. And as I said, like at the time, no one had a reason to be curious. I hadn't given them a reason because I hadn't actually accomplished anything that anyone was envious of. But now that I've accomplished things that people are envious of, they are now curious. They are now, and they believe that celebrating that cause and showing interest in that cause is going to render me more inclined to appease their curiosity and teach them of the methods by which and the means by which I have done what I've done and I've accomplished what I have. And as I said, they're the very same things that I was laughed at to begin with. Interesting how it works. But this is not just of relation to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding was one of those things. Yeah. But this is not just a relation to bodybuilding. Like for the sake of conversation regarding the entertainment business, that was something I proposed to someone that I again like had a lot of time for and valued the opinion of to an extremely great degree, and they laughed at me. I'd go as far as to say they actually discouraged me from doing so. And since I've proven that it could be done, and since I've actually done it, and given the attention that has resulted in from others that are interested in learning as to how I did it, that are curious and have expressed interest, as I said, they are now in support of that particular endeavour.
Eating his own words.
Yep. It was a she, but yeah, but yeah, 100%, and that's just how things work. Yep. We only pay attention to the reality situation is we only pay attention to those we believe we can learn something from or are going to be entertained by. That's the thing. We only, as I said, you don't read books that you don't believe you can learn something from.
Absolutely. Man, come on,
Hayden wants my attention like you wouldn't believe. He's curious regarding something. There's something.
100%.
There's something Hayden wants to know. 100%. He's calling me because he's of the understanding.
Not because he wants to tell you.
He's of the understanding there is something that I'm likely going to tell him this evening that benefits him. That's what he's calling regarding. But no, this has been a pretty good tangent. But we started talking about the importance of talent and how big a factor talent is, and I feel like we summarised that pretty well. I feel like in summary, talent. Without talent, provided there are numerous others interested in that, you are not going to be the best at it. Full stop. The sooner you come to that realisation, the sooner you realise how big a factor talent is, provided you are not the only one interested in that outlet, the sooner you will, as I said, provided your expectation is to be exceptional at it, the sooner you will start to strategically consider what you could potentially be exceptional at, provided that is your expectation.
And you said something about reverse engineering?
Yeah, regarding what you want to first identify what your expectation is. When you are goal setting, you want to first identify what is your idealistic expectation. Yeah.
Is this with everything in life?
Absolutely everything. So if you want to make, this is where talent's also a factor. If you want to make $1 million, well then the harsh reality situation is you're not going to do that opening up a lemonade stand. What is your if that is your intention, what is your expectation? Do you simply want to make the day of those that walk by? Like if you want to open up a lemonade stand and you have no interest in hiring anyone, you don't want any employees, and you don't want to scale the business, you don't want a franchise, you just want the one lemonade stand on a corner and you want to make $1 million, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. No. So you need to, but if your intention is to, and your expectation is to simply make the day of those that live proximal to you, that like lemonade, you are going to do that.
You're
going
to crash it.
But are you going to make $1 million opening up a single lemonade stand with no intention of employing people because you don't want to? Nah. It's not going to happen. So that's again, like you reverse engineer everything. So, and that will influence the decisions you make. Because obviously the more the prioritizing, provided you are playing long term, you're going to be more inclined to make decisions that will benefit you long term. Should your focus be short term metrics, they are often at the detriment of, again, like the potential of that business to be as big as it could be long term. There are long term repercussions, often detrimental, that again are a result of decisions made that benefit you more short term.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah. And I feel as though like people that are stuck, that have like an end goal in mind, but that are stuck on like where to start and have no clear plan of action, I feel like that's perfect for them.
To reverse engineer things.
Yeah.
100%. You can't, again, setting a goal is all well and good, but the reason as to why people in nursing homes are as inclined to talk about the things they intend to do as they are is because they never actually look at setting a goal is easy. Everyone can set a goal. We can set a goal right now. I could very well say, Sean, my plan of attack, I want to run a marathon by the end of the year. That's all well and good. That's a goal.
Yep.
But if I don't start taking action to influence the likelihood of that being a possibility or that being plausible, it's not going to happen.
Yep.
That's the thing. So it's very, people set goals because setting goals is easy. People set goals so when they're spoken to and when they're asked what are your intentions, or it's so they have an answer. People like having an answer for everything.
Yep.
So when someone says, hey, like what are you doing with your life? What are your intentions? Provided they've got a goal there, all they care about is how impressive someone deems that goal, as opposed to how likely they are to actually achieve that goal. Because they're thinking short term. They don't actually care. They don't actually care about whether they achieve the goal or not. They simply want to be able to tell their friends, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm working towards, and their friends go, oh, that's really cool. So when their friends are asked, hey, I saw you caught up with so and so, how are they doing? They go, yeah, they are killing. They are killing it. You should. Oh, this is what he's intending to do. And straight away, like that's gratifying, is what that is. They are more concerned with the perception associated with being in pursuit of that goal than they are actually achieving the goal. Yeah. And provided that is your ambition is to be perceived as someone that is a go-getter. As opposed, unfortunately, I hate to be the very bad news, but long term, you are not going to be perceived as a go-getter. Full stop.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas, as I said, like if you're more inclined to say, hey, like if someone says, what is your ambition, and you actually not only say this is my ambition, but you make apparent a means of
the plan that you're going to do.
A goal without a plan is that's a bit wishful thinking, is basically what that is. And wishful thinking often remains just that, wishful thinking. Yeah. But as I said, if you actually have if you have a plan, or straight away, like you're more likely to achieve that. Your expectations are more. If you have identified what you expect to happen, if you have identified the means by which you intend to have that expectation realised, well, you're already way ahead of those that simply just have a goal.
Exactly.
Simply, like it's very.
Even people that don't have a goal, I feel like they got to make something up because of maybe like fear of judgment.
The people that don't have goals are the people that are most inclined to blame everyone else for their problems. Because
again, though, lack of context, maybe.
People desperately no. So without a goal, you have no purpose. So if you don't know, if you are questioning as to why you're put on this earth, and that you can still question it while you're looking for it. Right, so your goal at the time could be to find what you believe you're put on this earth for, right? And that itself is a purpose. At this point in time, it's contextual relevance, right? Yeah. That will change when you believe you find when you believe you've found what you understand to be what you, as far as the context, given the context you have, when you believe you've found what you were put on this earth to do, right? Mm-hmm. That is a purpose. Yeah. Being in pursuit of, as I said, what you were born to do. That is a purpose. Yep. And obviously, once you believe you've found that, your purpose will change. Your purpose can change. But those that have no purpose and are not interested in finding a purpose, they are the most inclined to blame others for everything. They are the most... They desperately want someone to blame for everything, and they desperately want to think that no matter what, there are things they cannot control. Yep. That's because...
Life's against them.
100%. Because as soon as you come to the realisation that you have... Your life is dictated by the effort you invest in pursuit of your endeavours, and your happiness is dictated by the effort you invest in pursuit of your endeavours. The sooner you have no excuse to be unhappy. There is no excuse to be unhappy. Yeah. Because, as I said, that is dictated by the steps you take. That is dictated by what you do day to day. Does that mean you're going to be happy tomorrow? No. Does that mean that there are things you can do to be happier tomorrow than you are at present? Yes. So as soon as you come to that realisation, as I said, you have no excuse to be unhappier tomorrow than you are today. Yeah. But people don't want to do it. They want to believe that no matter because they're lazy. Well, no one's lazy regarding anything that they are pretty good at and they enjoy doing. No one's lazy in that sense.
Lack of knowledge and context, maybe?
Well, the reason as to why people are desperate to believe that things are out of their control is because they do not believe themselves that they can meet their own expectations, given either what they've been told, given what they've allowed themselves to believe, given the lack of faith in themselves they have. That's why I said they are more fearful of failing than they are fearful of being unhappy, or at least only as happy as they at present are for the remainder of their life. They are of the understanding that trying and failing is going to render them in a worse circumstance than they at present are. Yeah. And that is why they want to believe, to again justify not trying, that, as I said, like the reason they're in the circumstances they are, it's attributed to factors that are out of their control.
And
that was actually really good. Matt, that was epic. But that is my opinion.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And because even though, say they start pursuing something that they really enjoy, I feel like when they fail, they're always going to be inclined to blame other factors rather than themselves.
Yes.
Yeah, for the reason why they've failed.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's so detrimental.
That's accountability is what you're about to talk about as well. Like again, like if you want to be happy, you first need to be accountable. We've had this discussion before. Yeah. If you aren't at all accountable, and as I said, you are of the understanding that there are things you can't control, well, again, like you're going to continue blaming those things as opposed to considering what you could potentially do to be happier given the factors you can control. There are factors that you can't control. That goes without saying. Are they ultimately going to dictate whether you're happy or not? No. Are there factors that will influence how happy you are that you can control? Always, yes.
Yeah.
Right. That's the point of difference. That's accountability is what we're about to talk about.
Like one of those is like just perspective.
Yes, I 100% agree. Yeah. Like those most inclined to feel sorry for themselves, those most inclined to complain, are those that haven't allowed themselves the context necessary to put things in perspective. If you're someone that complains about, and I say it every morning, if you're complaining about someone putting the wrong milk in your coffee, a coffee that you can afford that some people can't, you have not allowed yourself the context necessary to put things in perspective. The fact, anyone that's listening to this and therefore has access to the internet, you have more opportunity than a lot of other people could hope for.
Yep.
So straight away, like the things that you are complaining regarding, others, again, regarding that coffee, there is literally something that you are complaining regarding or potentially have complained regarding that someone couldn't even hope for.
Some people just don't wake up.
Incredible, right? Because they deliberately don't allow themselves that context. It's their own fault. And it, again, comes down to accountability is what it comes down to. The second you allow yourself that context is the reason you no longer have an excuse to feel sorry for yourself, and the reason, and then a reason to start taking action, or a reason to start focusing on the things that you can control, that will result in you being happier. There's work associated with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
no one wants to do the work, right?
But it's more or less willful ignorance is more or less what it is. They are deliberately not allowing themselves that context to justify not taking action. That they not taking action regarding their happiness, not taking action regarding their endeavours, their ambitions, because they understand the work associated in doing so, associated with doing so.
Yeah.
Because happiness is sacrificed for. No one is entitled to be happy. No one's entitled to their happiness. You work for that. No one's. It doesn't work. You are not entitled to that. You are not entitled to your goals. Yeah. No one's entitled to their goals. They are sacrificed for. So provided you understand that achieving that goal, working towards that goal, is going to render you happier, harsh reality situation is that you are therefore not entitled to your happiness. You have every opportunity to pursue it, as does everyone else. Yep. Are you entitled to it to a greater degree than anyone else? No. You need to work for that. You need to sacrifice for that. Yep. Anyone that is happiest has bled the most. And that's a metaphor, but the reality situation is anyone that is their happiest has bled the most. They have made the most sacrifices. They have invested the most time in allowing themselves the most context and likely failed the most to better understand what it is that makes them happy. And again, they are likely still, provided that's not something that's conventional, likely still making sacrifices day to day regarding the way they are perceived by society for the sake of expectations, for the sake of context. Let's say that you love driving around Australia in a camper van, right? Yep. And you understand that lack of ambition is not to be confused with understanding what makes you happy. It's where a lot of people go wrong as well. So for the sake of conversation, someone might have been a corporate, had a corporate job, have been very successful, but is now with the understanding that driving around in a van and not showering very often makes them happy, right? So the sacrifice they are making for their happiness day to day is that they no longer have the status that they do. They once did. And they are often perceived as a burden to society by those that don't have the same values and don't have context. Yeah. Were they always perceived as that person? No. Are they making sacrifices now for the sake of their happiness? Yes. Happiness is sacrificed for. No matter who you are, it is sacrificed for.
Well, like you said, that should always be North Star, right?
If you're 100%, if you want to be a corporate guy, you love the status, well, the sacrifice you're making for that status, provided that status makes you happy, is the stress associated with that job. Yeah. There is always those that are happiest have bled the most and are potentially bleeding the most. Yeah. They are making the most sacrifices. Yeah. You're not entitled to that.
And as well, like, for example, when you said going from corporate to driving around in a van, right? How did you describe it? As like
so basically,
the judgment,
lack of ambition is not to be confused with understanding what makes you happy, right? Yeah. So like what you consider as someone taking an easy option may very well be a conscious decision they have made for the sake of their happiness.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And they can get I feel like they can get so twisted and so quickly just from people's values and understandings not aligning.
100%. But no, you can't. That's where again, like valuing the opinions of others, strategizing regarding your life to best suit the opinions of others. It's going to result in you being unhappy. Yeah, exactly. It's the perfect point to make, given what we just discussed. Yeah, 100%. Because again, only you know what makes only you know what makes you happy. Yeah. That's the harsh reality of the situation. Yeah. So again, like you're never going to be happy strategizing to prove others right, or strategizing to pander
other
to the
people's values,
preferences of others. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Everyone has different values. Everyone would be so much happier provided they were the only person on the world. Like they were the only person in the world. If it were only you here, if there were no one else here, there would be no reason for you to not do what you want to do every day, and you would be so much happier. 100%. So again, like given the understanding you now have, given the context I've just allowed you, and given the example I've made. Well, then why aren't you doing what you want to do day to day? You have there's no reason. Like you're going to give me 15. You're going to give me 15 reasons right now as to why it's not viable, and I guarantee all of them are in relation to the opinions of others. Every single one. Yeah. Every single one. Because if you just said yes, that would if you were the only person on this planet, what you spend your time doing, or what you believe your time is best spent doing, or what you would like to do day to day, and what you again let's just speculate. So what you believe you would find yourself doing most often, why are you not taking the steps necessary now to result in you potentially being able to do that as often as possible? You have, because you understand that's going to make you happy. You've just come to the realization that provided you were the only person in the world, what you would be doing day to day would be very different to what you're doing now. But there's no reason as to why you can't do that. Is it going to require sacrifice? Yes. But as I just said, to be happy, to be happiest, you need to sacrifice. You're not entitled to that. So you need to take the steps necessary to result in you potentially being able to do those things that you would provide you were the only person in the world.
Yep. And you know the steps now. We gave you the answer.
You have everything.
Exactly.
You have the tools.
Exactly. We gave you the gems in this podcast.
This has been a good chat, Sean. This has been a really good chat. You have no excuse. No excuse. Willful ignorance. That is not a good strategy. Provided you want to be happy, willful ignorance is not a good strategy. Yeah. Oh, Sean, I appreciate you. I like these chats, Sean. I really do.
With the table I can flip.
No, thank you for your time this evening, Sean. I appreciate you. Pleasure. Are you next week, same time, same place?
Course.
Oh, you are the man, Sean.
Course.
Again, do you want to sign out? Do you want to sign yourself out, or do you want me to go on? Give a bit of you. Haven't you sign off, Sean? Let's let you do it.
Okay. Interesting.
Because we both understand. Like I will happily do it.
All right, I'm gonna give it a go. Thank you everyone for listening.
On that note, again, as Sean said, I can't help myself. Should we just leave it at that?
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.